Today on Twin J Racing, we actually work on my truck. We're going to get the ball joints done, the glow plugs done, axle joint done, caliper done, all kinds of fun stuff. So we're going to actually work on my truck. The snow was negative 22-degree wind chill, like -4 outside when I just started it up and drove it in here. When it first started, it ran on about 4 cylinders, but I think it was running on all 8 by the time I got it in here. So it's definitely going to like them glow plugs, I think. We'll find out. So follow along, and we're going to get some work done and work on this parts pile. Work on the parts pile over there. So follow along. Welcome back to Twin J Racing, everyone. Today, we're actually working on my truck. My truck. You're going to be like, wait a minute. I just saw this. This is a rerun. Taking the wheel off, taking the unit bearing out, taking the axle shaft out. We got to change the U-joint. We got to change the ball joints. Got a new caliper for this side. New rotors for both sides because this got a real bad pulse in the front when you step on the brakes, which is warped rotors. You know, Chicagoland stop and go traffic. Gotta love it. But we got a whole parts pile over here. 2 brake rotors, a caliper, a set of pads, brake hoses, ball joints, U-joint, all kinds of fun stuff to go on this truck. So we do have to take the other side apart, but we gotta get this taken apart and get it tore down, which I'm just gonna time lapse it because like I said, we literally just had a video recently where I tore it all apart on my dually. So it's the same steps. Same basic thing. This is just a little bit different. The 08's got a different caliper, different brake pad, different rotor. But I think that's because it was a phenolic space or a piston to start with. And now the remanufactured ones have steel pistons in them and they work better, last better. But we're going to get to taking this apart. Like I said, no point in going through all of it. You've seen it all. So we'll just put it on time lapse so we get to the more fun stuff, the stuff we haven't done. I've never had that happen. I have never had a brake rotor not come off. It would come all the way out, but not come all the way off. I've never had that before, especially these knockoff style ones, which was just weird. I don't know if it was a rust buildup because there's all kinds of rust and crap falling out of there, or what it was. But regardless, I don't know. I'm thinking it was a rust buildup or something because I've owned this truck. Yeah, look at all the crap inside of there. Probably dirt and rust and all kinds of stuff. Dirt and rust and all kinds of crap inside of there. I've had this truck since 18 and I don't think I've ever had this rotor off. I've had the other one off a couple of times, but I don't think I've ever had this one off, which leads me to the more fun I don't think we're going to have. But that's only part of what I found. Even though I didn't hear it, listen to this. So that means we're doing a wheel bearing too. On top of everything else, it needs a wheel bearing. I don't have a wheel bearing yet. That actually is kind of bound up. And then we got that axle joint back here. But we'll get to that when we get the wheel bearing off. So I just wanted to touch on what was going on with this. And further down the spiral, unfortunately. Not going to be a quick and easy job like I wanted. Now we're going to have to take the other side apart and check that wheel bearing. But, oh well. We'll keep plugging away at it. And looking at this, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera or not, but it's actually cracked. And that's, wow. Yeah, things had a little heat put in it at one point in time. Like I said, it's just dirty. I don't know if that's mud and rust or what's all in there. Don't really see any cracks on the front side, but oh well. It is what it is. Off camera, I took the snap ring out of the center here. I just did that. Forgot to turn camera back on. Did some shopping for wheel bearings. Them things are salty. Rock Auto is the best bet, but shipping is going to be the killer on that. It says it can be here Friday, so I might do that. They're a little over $200 a piece at Rock Auto. Actually, they're about $250 a piece. AutoZone bearings are exactly that. They're AutoZone bearings, so a little hesitant. I mean, I'll do it if I have to get it done, but if I can get Motorcraft ones from Rock Auto, I might do that. I called the Ford dealership, like, oh, they can't be that bad. Yeah, I was wrong. $600 and some for one. And I can get 2 shipped to the house from Rock Auto for less than that. I decided that wasn't going to happen, so I'm not sure where I'm going to get a wheel bearing yet for this. I'll make that decision tonight. I want to get the other side apart and listen to that wheel bearing. If I got to order 2, I need to know and get them ordered. If I can get them by Friday, that would be great. I can put this back together Friday. We got a lot of other work to do on this and other stuff, but that's the downside of not having everything, because I didn't know the wheel bearing was bad. Never noticed the noise in this one. But it's there. We all heard it. So it's going to be a part. Might as well fix it right. So we're going to keep tearing this down. I got to get the other 2 nuts off the back, and then pull all the fun stuff for the ABS wire and get that all out of the way. And then pop this apart and then work on getting it down to the ball joints. So we got to get tie rod off, get the ball joints knocked out, but I'm sure I'll go talk to you before that. I'll probably get the hub out, probably pop the axle out, and then I'll probably go tear the other side apart so I can see what it looks like or sounds like and make a decision on what I want to do about wheel bearings. So check back in with you guys after a while. Now we're going into uncharted territories. Alright, on my videos, we have to get this axle shaft out. We have to get this axle shaft out. And what I normally do is get back behind, don't know, get back in here and pry out on the axle shaft itself. But you kind of got to do it equally, because what you're trying to do is this front hub seal here, this expensive hub seal, which we'll probably replace because I never replaced this one, replace the other side, and usually you tear it the first time you take it out. But we got to push this hub seal out. It's where I missed the older trucks where it just sat in the spindle. But we got to get that popped out, so that way we can move on to the rest of this program here. But I usually get the pry bars back here and just try to work that thing out. I'll probably knock over the camera with my knee because I use my knee on one. Oh! Oh! Yeah, that smarts. It's kind of like the Freiburger moment where I just need a minute. Yow. But I have not found any better way to get those out than to pry it out, and this getting this seal to break sucks. You gotta go get the boss.
Big one or a little one?
Big one. You're gonna want the leverage, but you need to be under the mud flap.
Under the mud flap. Where am I? Behind the seal?
Behind the seal. You know, just be careful because when it comes, it'll come.
You don't try to walk it at all?
I try to walk it, but it doesn't.
Hold on. I'm gonna need to be in a different position. Sorry.
Fine, move the camera wherever you need to move it.
Sorry,
because
Mr. GoPro. I need to stare over there for a bit. Can I borrow?
I was gonna say, if you want a creeper, I'll get you a creeper. No, pulling the seal sucks, and I don't know of any better way to do it. Did it pop or did my bar pop out? I think we broke the seal. Even though it's got to come all the way out. Now it's out. You know what sucks though?
What the f have you done to the shaft?
I haven't done anything to the shaft. That's the way they're made.
What?
Don't ask me why, but hear it? Hear the U joint? It's loose.
I don't hear anything now, sorry.
Well, you can see the play in it.
Yeah. Okay, let me see the finger now.
Yeah, we'll go in and clean it now.
It's up to you.
That escalated quickly, but we got it done. We got it apart. Well, we got the shaft out. We still got to take it farther apart. We got to get the knuckle all the way off to do the ball joints. But we did get the shaft out. The shaft is out with the help of my wife. We popped that out real quick, finally, after I smashed my hand. But that's a whole nother subject. But we got to get this apart. And I'm working on figuring out what we're going to do about wheel bearings. But we're going to go ahead and take the other side apart to listen to that wheel bearing. If that needs a wheel bearing, I'm just going to order two. If that one's okay, I'm going to order one. And we're going to go from there. Because we're at least doing rotors and a pad on that side too, because the rotors are warped. But it's apart. We're making progress. You know, it's like deja vu. But I know the lower ball joint, as I'm pointing at, I know the lower ball joint on this side is definitely bad. The upper one's a little loose too. But if you do one, you do both. Probably go replace that tie rod end because the boot's torn, which means it's been contaminated. But that's been replaced before, so I should have a warranty on that to get a new one. I was going to wash all of this, run it through the car wash like 5 times before we got into this, but It's like negative 22 with the windshield here, and car washes are closed, so we get what we get, and we're just going to deal with it. And then, haven't really talked about it, but we got glow plugs to do. Went and picked those up today. Got glow plugs and harnesses, so we got to take the inner fenders out anyways. It's just a whole bunch to do, but we're going to knock it out. But now we're going to go over and take the other side apart. I don't even know if I'm going to video that. Probably not. Just take it apart and get to the wheel bearing and see how that one sounds. That's pretty much my plan at this point in time. But we'll keep going, and when we get back over here, we'll start videoing again. Yep, definitely 2 for 2. Both wheel bearings on my truck. But that's life. Sometimes. This one will come apart. I mean, the other one didn't come apart too bad, but this one will come apart pretty easy too. You can even feel it binding. Because it'll turn and then it'll get tight. And then it'll turn. Nope, can't win for losing. So I guess we're getting 2 new wheel bearings for this truck. I guess I better get on Rock Auto and order the motor crap ones. Hopefully I get them on Friday like they say. Okay, we're going to continue on with tearing this thing apart. Let me see where you guys are at. We got to get this apart here. Get the tie rod off. I don't remember if I talked about it or not, but this boot's ripped. And that was a replacement I put on there when I broke it. Broke it snow plowing. Just completely fell apart, and I actually had to get it towed because it was cold outside and there was snow on the ground. But we're going to get this apart, and then we got to get to the upper and lower ball joints and get that apart so we can get this knuckle off and have fun with that. On top of, I just ordered ball joints from Rock Auto, but they had motor crafts for a good price, so here we go. We'll get those fixed. Hopefully they'll be here Friday, like I said before, and we'll get all of this put back together in time for me to go back to work next week. Yeah, it never works for me, but it always does for everybody else. Let's double team it. But all them shows, you watch them, they just knock it and it falls right apart. But it never works for me that way. Never. Pickle forks. I knew I had one. Not like I have to worry about tearing the boot. See? Can't cap it apart, but pickle fork will knock it apart. Yeah, that boot's nice and torn. Alright, that's done. We'll have to get that upper ball joint loose. I'm not even going to try to get that cotter pin out. That's a waste of time normally. Can you guys see my forkery happening here? Looks like it. But when you know you're just replacing the ball joint anyways, fighting with that cotter pin, in my opinion, is a waste of time. Even if you're not replacing it, fighting with that cotter pin, because you can just either drill or usually tap the remains of the cotter pin out when they're that roughed up. So my opinion, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what I do a lot of times, just to make my life easy. Nobody ever said I was an expert. I don't try to be. I try to do what I can to make stuff happen. I don't know if you guys can see or hear that. We'll get you a little closer there. But that lower ball joint, well, the upper too, wow. I hope you guys can see that. Those are cached. I knew they were bad a year ago. And you know, of course, I waited. Those are cached bad. Whoo-hoo. Oh well, they made it. Now it's time to change them, which is what we're doing right now. We're working on getting them changed. The rescue set. Inch and 5/16, which is what I figured it probably should have been. Where's that impact? Let's see if we can make all of this work. For those of you at home, don't try this at home. Because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today, it worked. Next time, it might not. Because I've had that stuff come apart in unpleasant ways. I didn't think that was going to move it. This is the hardest part, is getting this to let go. Getting that whole knuckle. I've done it many a times. But getting that whole knuckle to let go. And we'll get as far as we can on this stuff. Probably not going to do much more tonight once I get that knuckle off. Might do the ball joints tonight, might not. Might torch that U-joint out of the axle shafts. That's my method. I grab a torch and I burn the cross, and then it slides out. I gotta get a new axle seal because that's trash, but we'll talk about that. Am I literally tearing that ball joint apart? It looks that way. Alright. Finally popped. Yay! What a pain in the butt. Look how far we pulled that puppy out. That one. Alright, let's see here. This one you can tell. That's loose. I don't know if we tore the boot or if it was already torn or what. That one's loose. This one we actually pulled up and into the cup. That's why we couldn't move it anymore. Trying to separate it, we pulled that one. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Now it's, but that one's got a lot of play in it too. But those are both junk. J-U-N-K junk. And we will replace them with the new ones I have. And it's guaranteed. I don't know if any of you have ever replaced ball joints, but it's guaranteed you'll get the ball joint press all set up. Check the impact gun 3 times and you'll still press it the wrong way. Trust me, I know. But we're going to work on getting these pressed in and out. Probably go over to the bench, make our lives a little easier, and get that done. But I'm going to pull that snap ring real quick. What a catastrophe. Alright, I'll see you guys over at the bench. We got to get this snap ring out right here that holds this in. Got to get it broke free first. It's been in there a while. Okay, must be a little bit of a pain. Yep. You just keep working it. As you can tell, it's not fully loose. It's, there we go. And that's garbage, along with the ball joints and everything else. It's all garbage. Now we gotta go get our ball joint press, which I didn't bring over here like a dummy. But we will need these later, so we'll set these over here, out of the way, where you can't see them off camera. Where I have the ball joints, my phone. What we're going to do is we got to get this ball joint out, and you see that one's nice and loose and all worn out and no grease. This one up here, like I had to pound it back in, it's all nice and loose and no grease because all the factory stuff is non-greasable. Why, I don't know, but all OEMs are non-greasable nowadays. But my new ones, and that's something, as I'm walking away, my new ones, and that's something I'm very meticulous about. Everything I get is greasable. Even this upper one is greasable. It's got a 90-degree, comes right out the side. Because I've already done the ones on the passenger side. Okay. I have bought the new extra large C and the adapters. Because every time I try to do this, I never seem to have the adapter I need. Or wish I had a bigger one, or God knows what. So we're going to see what kind of trouble I can get myself into with what I have. Because I've never used any of this yet. I literally just got it greasy by me getting it out of the toolbox. And then our favorite impact, which I guarantee you at least once I will go the wrong way. And I will cuss and swear, but you won't hear any of it. Because that's what editing is for, now that I got Kappa cut back. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The videos on this channel are the way I do things, and are not the suggested way sometimes, but they're the way I do things, because first thing somebody's going to tell me probably is, you don't use an impact on a ball joint press. Sure you don't. I've always have. I mean, they tell you not to, but Well, you know, you'll have days like that. And just like that, we're down one. One ball joint. Oh. Set this. Oh, I already broke it. Good. I need more, you know, if I only had a workbench, you know, push stuff on. See, I have to catch myself every once in a while. But, as you can see, that ball joint is cooked. A lot of grease in there, as you can tell. But it's a sealed ball joint. You can't put any grease in it. Now for my next trick. My next trick will be trying to figure out how to put all that crap back away. That'll work. Sometimes striking it will help it move. There's number 2. That one's bad also. Like I said, when I pulled it out, it was literally trying to pull out of the top of the cage here. You know, and this one suffers from the same fate. Too much grease. Of course, my AutoZone specials here. This one here is like a lot of the Moogs. I mean, it's Duralast, we all saw that, but it's got the nice knurl in it. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. I like them because I know it goes in seats. But, you know, the more you press them in and press them out, it could cause problems. You just gotta get everything lined up right. Or you do that. That's about right. Oh. That's a given. That'll happen at least 2 more times. This is the fun part of trying to press this, is you gotta stack everything to try to get it all together. And through this hole to that hole to, yeah. Ever feel like you're building an over glorified erector set? I do sometimes. Make sure it goes the right way, and then somehow it'll still be the wrong way. Or you'll do something else wrong, which I'm glad I looked a little closer. But you got this install ring, and I have it upside down. So that's nice. See? Told you I'd drop it at least 2 more times. I didn't fully drop it that time, but I was well on my way. Well, we weren't there yet, but you got to make sure that you are centered up on the cup that you're going to use on this project. If you ain't got this centered, it ain't going to allow it to go where it needs to go. See? Told you. I put it backwards at least once today. It's home. So they send you that, and it's just trash after you're done, I guess. The snap ring does not go on the bottom of these. That must be for something else. It won't fit these. And then there's that 90-degree grease fitting I was talking about, screws into the bottom. We'll show that once we get over to the truck, but I'm going to take this package of parts over by the truck so it doesn't get misplaced, even though somehow it still will. Another Duralast. Yes, I know. I say one thing about them and then I keep using them. So it's the way it goes sometimes. Well, there are parts like this. If I need to get it replaced, I can. I can go to AutoZone with the old one and get a new one. That's not a problem. It's like wheel bearings and stuff. They only have a few year warranty anyways. So you're better off, in my opinion, going and getting the Motorcraft or whatever. Just my opinion. Some people will probably have a different opinion, which is perfectly fine. I'm allowed mine, so. I just have not had much luck with their wheel bearings in the past. They live a year or two, right, long enough to get outside of warranty, and then that's it. So, personal preference, like I said. When I pushed it out. But do I have enough C-clamp for all of this fun stuff? We will find out in the next episode of how in the heck I screw this up. Brought to you by What the Heck Was I Thinking? And why am I working on my truck? And why am I talking to myself right now? Well, I think we're there. You know, it's amazing to me still, and I've been doing this a long time, how much that C actually flexes. Oh. See, one more time of doing it backwards. It was just when I was trying to finish up. But we have now successfully pressed both ball joints in. The last piece of this puzzle, and then we'll do the grease fittings over at the truck. It's where I like to do them. I mean, everybody's personal preference. I like to do it in the truck, the last thing I do before I call it quits. But we need to get the snap ring on there for that one. I love these pliers and I hate these pliers all at the same time, because the tits, or whatever you want to call them, stick out a little too far in my opinion sometimes, and they tap that before it snaps the O-ring into place. But the O-ring is now in place, and we will clean up our tools and get this over to the truck. I just like to punch a cold chisel if you don't get crazy with it, but I like to make sure that this is seated. You guys will see me do that with the axle shaft one. It's just who I am. It's who I will always be, I guess, or something like that. Something I like to do to make sure everything's seated well. But it's all seated. We'll take the installer ring off. But with stuff like that, I like to hang on to them, because you never know. You might need them in the future for something else. But the boots are nice and intact. Everything is good and tight. Wooden tight. Because you guys saw how much play was in those old ball joints. These here, they'll move. I mean, there's no grease. Well, there's grease in there, but not a lot. They'll move, but they're not like soups loose to where they're going to fall off. So that's where we're going to leave this. I got to fix that mess, but I just noticed it's labeled C and D, and then all of these have a letter after them too. So we're gonna get that figured out so I can get everything put away. Well, this is where we're gonna drop this video for now. It's going to be at least a 2-part video, possibly 3. I don't know. I've only edited fully the first part, and I'm working on the second part because I'm still working on putting the truck together. We're almost done now. Got the wheels on it. We're setting the toe, but it's pretty much done now. And in this first video, you guys saw me tear it apart, which you've seen most of that on another video. Some of it saw me hurt myself and cuss a lot. You didn't see me cuss, but you saw me hurt myself. And we got the ball joints changed and getting ready to put it back together. And then in the next video, we'll put the knuckle back on. We'll put the axle in, change the U-joint in the axle. There's a lot going on. That's why I said it might be 3 videos. So just, this is where we're at. This is where we're going to leave it for now. Watch the next video, which will be up in a few days. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please check out Copper Cutlass's video. Check out his channel. Check out my brother's Geared by Crew W, I think is what his name is. Check out his channel. And I'll leave some links in the description if you want to check them out. Also, I'm going to try to put a link somewhere here for the introduction of this truck. As I'm pointing at the truck, you can't see. I did a video on that, and I might even try to link the video for doing the glow plugs in this one. I'm going to try to start doing some of that stuff. So thank you for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.